All right, guys, welcome back. Boots come in pairs. Been a lot of activity since we were last on. A lot to cover, so we're just gonna dive straight into it. We last episode we were talking. It was like game 2 or 3 of the World Series. Now we have concluded the World Series with one of the more dramatic endings. I would say it's funny because everyone's talking about. I think it was Jason Kelsey had some comments about how the Dodgers won again and ruining baseball. You know what? For ruining baseball, yes, they are paying a lot for their team, but that was one of the more entertaining World Series we have witnessed. And if I didn't have any Cub bias in me, I would say that was probably one of the best Game Sevens I've ever seen.
Mhm.
Just the magnitude of what was going on. Um, so initial thoughts on World Series, and then we'll kind of dive deeper into what kind of happened in that Game Seven.
Mhm. Very, very exciting. Really, the ALCS and this World Series, like going 7 games, having it be like a tooth and nail fight for this battle, the Dodgers in Toronto, um, kind of flip flopping the script. Like LA goes into Toronto, takes two, they go back to LA, Toronto takes two, they go back. Like they just keep going back and forth, and lots of drama, lots of really good things from really talented players. Overall, I'm obviously, like most of the country, a bit disappointed at the result. I think most of us were pulling for the team from the north. A lot better story, a lot more players that we liked, and a team that we were wanting to pull it out, and they just couldn't take care of business. But yeah, all in all, I can't remember the last time I was like really like glued and invested like this since a team that I liked was in it. Obviously, a few years ago when the Rangers were in it, that was kind of fun to watch. So I was pretty pumped for that. But I didn't watch as much last year because I wasn't as interested in the Yankees and the Dodgers. But great World Series, and one that got really good ratings and kind of put baseball back on the map, which is awesome. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
excited to talk about a little bit more of the details of some of the things and some of the stats and all that too.
yeah. This was the World Series we were promised last year, right? When it was supposed to be the two heavy market teams and the most interest pulled, and this delivered for sure. Yeah, going the 7 games, the way it played out. You have the Blue Jays going back home up 3-2, and you're like, they're gonna win this thing, right? They're gonna win this
Right.
thing, and then Yamamoto just pitched out of his mind. Um, it One of the biggest storylines that I like too is Ernie Clement setting a postseason record for hits.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my favorite things because he's in Game 7, and he probably should have had another one if Pages hadn't ran over
Mm-hmm.
Kike and caught that ball in the gap. Just that whole sequence was crazy. Um, but that was definitely one of my favorite little nuggets because especially in an era where we're not hitting as much, and a guy like Ernie Clement who did not hit a postseason home run, I do not believe, um, just had 31 hits, and was just really solid and played good third base and was just a really good player for the Blue Jays down that stretch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Game 7 in particular, there was multiple things going on. First off, you had the Dodgers pitch all 4 of their billion-dollar pitchers. You had
Mm-hmm.
Shohei, Blake Snell, Glasnow, and Yamamoto pitching on 0 days rest. Um,
Right.
that's what I think made that very special because we've seen before where, you remember the Diamondbacks where Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling were just like, hey, we're going to go win this World Series, right? We're just going to pitch
Mm-hmm.
as often as you let us. But to see it out of 4 guys, 4 starters, I think we saw a lot of that. I mean, Trey Yesevich came in and pitched as well. Like, you had a lot of starters that were willing to go out there and go win this thing. And that's really, if you're the Dodgers, and what I was kind of talking about beginning of the postseason, I didn't want the Dodgers to win, but they were the most talented team and they had the most
Mm-hmm.
assets and they paid for their guys to go do that. And they were the right guys. So,
Right. And all those guys that they paid for all the guys who their former teams weren't paying. Like the Dodgers, they believed in him. They gave him the money, and that is why you spend.
Yep.
That is why you spend. You spend for these guys to, in the biggest moment, on short rest, digging deep into the gas tank at the very end to ultimately pull out another title for you in the first back-to-back title since I believe the Yankees did it in the early 2000s.
25 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, and that again, that is why you spend. And the pitching, especially out of three of those guys, not really Shohei as much because I don't think he pitched that well.
No.
But you talk about Snell, you talk about Yamo, you talk about Snell, and even Roki Sasaki coming back, being healthy, being the closer, 3 saves, 2 holds, throwing strikes, doing what they need him to do. But yeah, I mean, Yamamoto was unbelievable, and I think if he wouldn't have come in, if he would have been unavailable, I don't think the Dodgers win that World Series. He really stepped up, and I would say even if he hadn't have come in and they did win, I could make the argument that you give the MVP of the World Series to the losing team. I would give it to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Mm.
He had one of the best all-around postseason performances that I've ever seen. Offense, defense. He is not the reason why they lost. He did everything that was asked of him. He really lived up to the bill of that huge contract that he just signed. It would have been nice to see a healthy Bo Bichette, but yeah, as far as Yamamoto is concerned, I mean, 37 innings pitched. He had 5 wins, 33 strikeouts, I think 6 walks. He had a mid 1 ERA, and I think he had I think he had an under 1 whip. I think it was like 0.78. So as dominant as you can be, obviously we've seen some very dominant pitchers, John Lester and Madison Bumgarner to name a couple, but Yamamoto's name belongs in that list with those guys. He was so good, and he was there when they needed him, even on short rest.
Yeah, he did it. I mean, so they were talking to the Dodgers GM. I don't know his name. I can't remember. After at the
Alex Anthopoulos.
It could be. I don't.
No. It's the guy. He used to be. Wasn't he the Rays guy? Oh my gosh,
I can't tell you the name. I just know they were talking to him at the stadium because he was talking about roster construction. And they're like, how do you get this together, whatever. And he goes, it's the ability to spend is one thing. The ability to bring guys in is one thing.
Friedman.
There you go.
Andrew Friedman. Yeah, he used to be the Rays guy.
So he was, leaning into that, but he goes, they also need to be the right guys. And we were talking about Blake Snell a couple of years ago about is he because he won the Cy Young. We were not impressed with his numbers, and he has a high walk rate and whatever. But you know what? That guy wants the ball every single time you can offer it to him. And that's not something you can quantify. And someone Glasnow warmed up multiple times in the bullpen. He's a starting pitcher, and he warmed up. Yeah. He was willing to do it. Yamamoto going on 0 days rest. When you sign him from Japan, where they're on a once a week, once every 7 days rotation, you don't know what you're getting, right? He doesn't speak English. You don't know what kind of competitor he is. He comes in with an injury last year and doesn't pitch much. Could you imagine that he's going to say, no, I want to pitch. I want to pitch now. Technically, Shohei was on short rest. But, you can pay these guys a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have that dog mentality and be like, give me the ball. I want to go win this. And all 4 of those guys showed that. All 4 of those guys wanted it. Yamamoto's was just insane. I think it was earlier in the series in the 18th inning game when Yamamoto just pitched, and then he went out to the bullpen to warm up. And Roki Sasaki had this look on his face like, what is this guy doing? Literally just pitched. But it's funny because I saw another meme this week that kind of emulated this, but it was like, Roki Sasaki pitching on 0 days rest. We're acting like little leaguers don't do this at every weekend tournament every summer.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it shows too, though, that sometimes we're a little too fragile with these pitchers. And I know it's a long season and there's been a lot of arm injuries, but I don't think it's because of overusage. I think it's just because of how fast these guys throw and the way they throw. It has nothing to do with how
Right.
many pitches you throw necessarily. But it's just, it was, again, they're going to spend a lot of money. They're going to do it, but it was cool to see it in the format where these guys aren't above it. They're not resting their arm for the offseason. Going back now to the Toronto side, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you're correct, had an incredible postseason. He had 8 home runs. However, going into game 7, he was going to have a special game for them to win. And he went 1 for 5 and
Hmm.
had a walk or two. And it seemed like he was looking to just get on base in certain spots when you needed him to swing the bat. So
Mm.
that is the only criticism I will have for Vlad Guerrero Jr. was Game 7 was probably his worst game of the postseason. Not he had made that incredible play fielding, but with the bat was probably his
Right.
worst game at the bat. And they needed a hero to come through, and it
Right.
just wasn't. It wasn't coming through.
He did. I agree with that, but he did hook that double
Yes.
into the corner late in the game, and he was on base. They didn't have any after Bo hit that monster shot.
Yep.
They didn't do anything, and I feel like when he did that, and it was not an easy pitch for him to handle.
No.
I
Well,
I
it's
think it
inside
was
pitch.
like
Yeah.
inside pitch and the swing, he just throttled his hands inside and really just roped that thing into the corner. And he was fired up when he was on second base. I'm like, all right, like, here we go. Like, this is what they need. They have to score another run. I just had
Yes.
this feeling. I was sitting on the couch. Leah and I are watching the game, and I like, they need this insurance run or they're going to lose. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, they need to score one more run. I said, I do not trust this lead. And if they do not score another run, they're going to lose the World Series. And I kind of spoke it into existence. I've just seen it too many times
Yeah.
when you
Yep.
don't get the run. And it was just kind of the story for Toronto in those last 2 games.
Yep.
They just could not. They were getting guys on base. They were getting guys in the scoring position. They just could not do the things to get that run
Yep.
across the plate.
They
Like
didn't even need
putting
hits.
the
They
ball
just needed to put the
the
ball in
wrong
play
part
in
of
the
the
right
field
spots, right?
in the right spots.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it was a game 7 note, people blaming IKF for his base running. I'm like, did you not watch the game before when they got doubled up on a play? Like, the coach told IKF to stay close. He was about even with Muncy. Will Smith has a cannon. He could very easily, if you get doubled off on a play like that, you are going to get run out of town. So I think he did exactly what he should have done from a base runner standpoint. Dalton Varsho just needs to not hit the ball to a middle infielder playing in.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, and it's easier said than done.
Yeah. And Dalton
Easier said
Varsho
than done.
had a poor offensive postseason. Um,
Correct.
and they had a lot of guys that had good, I mean, as a team, they were hitting very well. They had just had a few
Right.
guys that kept coming up. I mean, Andres Jimenez got robbed on that slash bunt, but still, I
Yeah.
feel like he kept coming up in big moments, and that was the wrong
Right.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Varsho was another
Varsho kept
one.
coming up.
Kirk
Right.
to end the game. Just
Yeah.
just the wrong pitch, but there's 2 strikes, and it's
Right.
just the right situation for that play to happen. Um,
Right. But like Vlad had a great
yeah,
postseason. Ernie was great. Addison Barger did amazing. George Springer had big moments, battled
George
through a lot of
Springer had a great,
injuries.
yeah.
Bo Bichette was not
So
healthy at all. Healthy Bo is a different, it's a different
yeah,
series and a different story.
if you have a healthy Bo Bichette playing shortstop, that means Jimenez is probably out of the lineup. That gives you another bat in there. Also, a healthy George Springer. I think that changes it as well. I think Toronto was extremely banged up, even though they were playing well and they had the series in their hands. And I would argue that they choked more than
Hmm.
LA
They
won that.
they did.
Um,
They choked.
but if they were healthy, I think they win as well,
Hmm.
because there was plenty of opportunities where Bichette just his knee wasn't going, and he's like, I'm station to station. And a lot of fans were like, man, how did he not score from second? You could see in the stadium, you got the surrender quote. We're like, oh my gosh, how did he not score? But like, what's he gonna do? He knows he's shutting it down at third, and there's nothing to push because he's got nothing in there. So
Right.
the fact that he didn't play all postseason, plays in the didn't play the last month and a half of the season, and then didn't
Hmm.
play all postseason, comes back for the World Series is almost Kyle Schwarber-esque. If they win that game, that is the equivalent to Kyle Schwarber coming back and hitting
Hmm.
in Game 7, in my opinion. But yeah, he had a great series for being limited, I thought.
Hmm.
But if he's healthy, though, baseball. He's been healthy for the last 6 years, and they haven't even sniffed the World Series. He's injured.
Right.
They almost win the World Series when he comes. It's like you can't write these things.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. And
Mm,
yeah, I feel for Toronto for sure. They had a heck of a season. Um, this might be the last we see of the Bichette Guerrero combination. Two guys who came up at the same time,
yeah,
have gone through the minors together, have had a very successful beginning of their pro careers together. I don't think Bo ends up back in Toronto. It sucks that it had to end that way. It would have been probably a nice way for them to end it, and maybe would have propelled Toronto into maybe
yeah,
inking him to a long term deal. It could still happen.
right. So this is something I said to someone this last week. Toronto made the World Series, almost won the World Series. I don't feel like they're any closer to actually winning a World Series, even though they
No,
were just there. They had to
right?
capitalize on this chance. Like, if they
Yeah,
would have won, I wouldn't have been like, oh, they're favored to repeat. No, because I feel like everything had to go right for them to get there. Like the
right,
Dodgers, easy to say, yeah, you're going to be back there again. But, like, I don't know if
right.
Toronto's going to get back.
Yeah, and I mean they got hot at the right time too. Like
Yep.
they really they weren't they in like third or fourth place like in June, and
Yep.
then they just ascended. They were really hot at the right time, and then they got to the postseason and they were hot still. They beat some very tough teams to get to where they were.
Yep.
Um, so
They're
yeah,
they're more
I agree with you.
talented than the Diamondbacks from a couple years ago, but it's
Yeah,
almost the same scenario of the perfect storm of, you're right, getting hot at the right time, having everything click at the right time, having your offense just be good enough and your pitchers being just good enough, and making it to the World Series. And then yeah, again they lost as well, but um, I don't think it's a dynasty in the making, especially because
no,
they do have some contracts coming up. They don't have, you know, Bieber opted out already, and, or did he opt in?
I
I
thought
think
he
he
opted
opted
in.
in. Okay. But yeah, you're right. You have Bichette's, is he in or out? And then
Bichette's a free Bichette's a free agent.
you're also in the AL East, right? And
Yeah,
the AL East is loaded. You have the Red Sox who are moving in the right direction. You have the Yankees who are always there, and you have Baltimore who's and Tampa who are always
in
trying to
Tampa.
get better. So there's no guarantees you even make the playoffs next year, right? So even though it's more inclusive. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
missed opportunity for sure for the Blue Jays. I think we all were cheering for the Blue Jays, just because we don't
yeah,
want it. We're tired of the Dodgers, but the Dodgers went out there and took it.
they
And
did.
of all guys, Miguel Rojas, who I'm sitting there. I don't know if you had this feeling, but I'm like, just pipe it down the middle, because Miguel Rojas hasn't fouled a ball off past the infield dirt. Every foul ball he's hitting is like barely getting over the screen, maybe at first base, whatever. But like, and then he just, of all, like, and maybe it's Shohei Ohtani's on deck, but like, you have both those guys hitting in that inning. Who do you think's going to hit the home run? Not Miguel
Right.
Rojas. Why would you
No.
think? You think Otani's going to be up with 2 outs? That's what I think.
And then the very next inning, the
Yeah.
next half of the inning, he makes the play.
Yep.
They're not champions without him
Yep.
doing what he did on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
And he's not a bad player. Like Miguel Rojas has had a very successful major league career. He's been very, very good, and he's done it with some different teams. He's not a
Yeah.
scrub. He was out there for a reason. He's on that team for a reason. Like Dave Roberts picked him. Andrew
Right.
Friedman picked him. Like he was supposed to be there.
And we can go back to that IKF, not getting the lead off, whatever. That the lead does. I know that's like, oh, the sliver of a second that Will Smith didn't have his toe on the bag, but Miguel Rojas beat him to the plate by multiple steps. So
Right.
it wasn't like, oh, he was out because he didn't get there in time. Like the only reason why it was plausible that he might have been safe was because Will Smith's foot lifted off the bag and then came back on, and then in that moment, that's when IKF's foot came in. So really, I don't think the lead had anything to do with it. He was out by a mile, and it
Right.
was a great play by Rojas. And so I've seen a couple contradicting videos on like Eric Burns put one out where it's like, no, he should have had a bigger lead. This is where your lead should go. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever, you know.
Right.
It comes down to execution with the bat and getting that ball in the air in the outfield, not up the middle, right? So, but
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed 100%. I do not blame the base running. And here's the thing, former players, Eric Burns, um, if you were on a team and literally the day before somebody got doubled off to end the
to
game,
end the game, yeah,
you would listen to your coach.
yep,
You would listen to your coach. And it's like, well, what if Dalton Varsho hit a line drive to third base? Like I was on Instagram or something like that, and I like made a comment about like it not being IKF's fault, and what if this happened or what if that happened? This person's like, well, like Dalton Varsho, like he's only hit one line drive to third base in the last like 4 years. I'm like, well, he could have been two. We'll never know. But it was not. He's not the reason why they lost.
I guess we'll never know. You know
IKF's not
what?
the reason they lost.
The Blue
All he had to
Jays
do, like, not
had,
don't hit,
yeah,
don't hit a weak ground ball
no.
to the infield, to the middle infield when they're playing in. How about don't do that?
The Blue Jays had so many opportunities to win that game
So many.
that it doesn't just come down to that. It comes down to
Doesn't come down.
execution. You know what? It comes
No.
down to, Hoffman shutting the door. Just shut the door.
Right.
And you let up a
Just shut the
homer,
door.
which he is prone to
Don't
do,
give up
though.
home
He's
runs.
he's given up a lot of homers this year. But yeah, it's
Right.
again just missed opportunity for the Blue Jays, and I think they were just shocked. They were really just shocked that happened, and um, you know, it's like good teams find a way to win, and
And they
sure
did.
did.
Hmm.
All right, well, we'll move on to the thing I've been waiting for pretty much since midsummer when I felt like it was going to happen. The Gold Gloves. We'll see someone on the screen. Um,
And the
first,
platinum gloves.
and the Platinum Gloves. Any any surprises for you? I guess we'll kind of go through the list and then we'll talk about what's going on with each one. So American League catcher, you had Dylan Dingler. First base, Ty France. This one was confusing to me.
Yeah.
I said I don't really have any comments for catcher because that seems right. But yeah, Ty France. Yeah, it says here deadline moved by the Blue Jay to the Blue Jays. I don't. Did I miss something? Was Ty France just like an amazing first baseman this year that I didn't pay attention to?
I was pretty surprised as well. I'm gonna look at was he even on the playoff roster?
I didn't see him taking it. That's why when I saw he was on the Blue Jays, I'm like, really? Ty France is on the Blue Jays? The last time I remembered him, he was
Right.
on Seattle. But then it's like, oh yeah, look at this, Twins and Blue
Right.
Jays. So I don't.
So I'm gonna look up how
Maybe he
many
had an
games
at
he
bat.
had. So I guess he played. I mean, he started a 108 games at
Hmm.
first base, and he didn't make a lot of mistakes. I think he only made 3 errors, is what this is telling me. But I just don't. I was pretty confused by that one. I don't really get it. Yeah, Dylan Dingler had a really nice year.
Yep.
That is not surprising to me. But yeah, the France was confusing. There's a couple more in the AL that were very confusing
Yeah.
too.
Second base, Marcus Semien. He's a good fielder. I'm sure.
Right,
I didn't watch a lot of Ranger baseball this year, but I'm
right,
I'm never shocked if he wins one because he is a good fielder.
right,
Shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr.
right.
Not shocked by that one either. Third base, Michael Garcia. Again, not watching too much Royals baseball. I will have to
Right.
take
But
their
he had a
word
really
for
nice
it.
year.
Um, if there's anyone who he wanted over, I mean, Bregman didn't play a full season, so that definitely
No,
hurts him. But otherwise, no complaints. Stephen Kwan in left field,
not a
not
surprise.
a
Stephen
surprise.
Kwan did.
However, I think Stephen Kwan is starting to enter Ian Happ territory where he's got a better bat, though. He hits for a higher average, so
Correct.
maybe not. But yeah, you can definitely get more power. But Stephen Kwan is a great player. Um,
Quan does things. He has like center field and right field ability,
mm,
but in left. Like I looked at his some of his deep metrics. Like he's got an excellent arm.
yeah,
He's got a lot of range. He makes all the plays. I'd argue that he is. I mean, he's the best left fielder in baseball.
yeah. He would
Um,
be a tremendous step up for Ian Happ, in my opinion.
correct.
Um, yep. Senadine Rafaela in center field. Not shocked
Definitely
by that either. He is a fantastic center fielder. He's a fantastic player.
elite.
He played a lot of games at second too.
Right.
Not shocked by that. And Willie Abreu. Did Jared Duran win last year?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
I was
Abreu
gonna
did though.
say
Right.
the Red Sox could sweep the outfield maybe, but
Yeah.
so you have two Red Sox outfielders. Again, not shocked by
Yeah.
that. Won the Gold Glove last year. Um,
Fantastic.
yep.
Abreu is fantastic.
Max Farid pitching. Not shocked. Mauricio Dubon wins again at utility. Makes sense. They
I
have the breakdown.
yeah.
48 games in left field, 46 at second, 33 at shortstop, 24 at third base, 17 in center field. First base played 4 games, right field played 3 games. That in itself, congratulations, sir. Your second straight
Right.
Gold Glove. National League catcher, you have Patrick Bailey. Not surprised again. Matt Olson at first. This one I
Yeah.
think was a little contested. You do have Freddie Freeman over there, but another brave first baseman. Not shocked by that. Matt Olson is a very good first baseman. You also have Pete Alonso. Michael Bush
Mhm.
was not even in the picture.
Right.
But again, Matt Olson, always good. The Braves had a down year, but defense never stops. Second base, Nico Hoerner, which we've been
Yeah.
clamoring for. Just he 6.1 B WAR. Most of that was defensive. I mean, he just had off. I know this is not an offensive award, but offensively, he had a very, very efficient season. But what he did with the glove was just even more so. Him and Dansby, just the amount of double plays they've turned. Again, I've been tooting his horn for the last 3 years, and just it's good to see it rewarded. I thought it was a sham last year that he wasn't even in the top three. So
Right.
good to see him reposition himself as the best. Also, apparently he didn't throw all season before a game. Did you know that?
I know that he really. I didn't know that. I didn't know that part of it. I did know that he doesn't throw hardly at all during spring training. He's always like resting it.
Spring training is one thing, but he was coming off that shoulder surgery. Remember, he missed the Tokyo games, and we're like, is he going to be ready for the season? And he was. He played like 157 games. Like, he was not taking days off, but he
No.
was still working his way back from his shoulder injury, and just turned in a really solid defensive season.
Yeah.
Mason,
Very solid.
yes. Mason Wynn winning at shortstop. This
Yeah.
one, I'm not sure about.
I'm
Again,
pretty
I'm not.
sure.
You're pretty sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I just feel like he's got a very strong arm, but there's also a lot of mistakes made. Um, I guess I don't know who I would go instead, but I feel like this is also inevitable because he is a premier shortstop. I just thought he made a lot of mistakes too. But
Yeah.
fifth youngest shortstop to win a Gold Glove. So there you go.
Yeah.
Third
When it
base.
comes to fielding run value, which we'll talk about more when it comes to the platinum gloves and some of the scrutiny that is being rained down upon the voters based on who was selected for that, particularly in the NL. Mason Wynn had a 17, which is good for 8th in baseball.
There you go. Okay.
So there's not many guys who are. He's actually the number one shortstop when it comes to that stat. The next closest is Nick Allen with 13, and I know people were singing Mookie Betts praises, but he's nowhere near the top at all.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing his name
I'm
really
always
anywhere.
just I'm impressed with Mookie more because of playing right field and then playing shortstop and then again winning World Series and doing like he looked like a shortstop this year. Last year he looked a little shaky, but he looked more like a shortstop this year and definitely filled that role.
But do we give him hardware because
No.
he made a transition? Like, we don't do that.
No,
we
no.
reward the defensive
Yeah.
prowess unless it's this year.
Right.
When it comes to the NL Platinum Glove winner,
Well,
we do not honor the best defensive player for that.
Right. Like Ellie De La Cruz he's probably up there too in that like defensive run saved or whatever, but he also makes a ton of mistakes. So yeah, it's just that's probably deserving. I have a little Cardinal bias, so maybe I'm just wanting to see something.
Yeah.
But
Next closest shortstop is Trey Turner in the NL.
Okay. And
Joey Ortiz is actually up there too.
Joey Ortiz.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic for later. Joey Ortiz.
I just keep scrolling and I still don't see Mookie Betts, and I'm at number 65 right now.
Okay, so no.
Oh, there he is, 78.
Okay. Not cool. And I don't think he should. I think he's a future center fielder, to be honest with you. But
he should be. He used to be a center fielder.
Yeah. Key Brian Hayes at third base, not shocked. Cool to see Matt Shaw in the top 3. But Key Brian Hayes, much better defender.
Yeah, he's like number 4 on that list. He's or 5 or 6. Like he's way up there. He's so good at defense.
Ian Happ in left field again. I don't understand. I'm just throwing out again. We watch more of Ian Happ than anyone does. I don't understand why he continues to win the Gold Glove when he has a weak arm and struggles sometimes with the routine play. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't know who else instead, but I just don't. Maybe we're just haters, but I watch way too much of Ian Happ to know that it's not a Gold Glover in left field every time I see him.
He's number 140. He has a 0 fielding run value. There's lots of outfielders. I just don't. Is this peers? Like, who votes for this? Who votes for these awards?
Maybe he won it one year and they just go, well, he didn't do anything different this year, so he must have won it again.
Right.
He's a 0 run differential.
It's not it's fielding run value. He has a 0. So I mean, I'm looking at other. Do we have like the list of finalists in left field?
I don't in front of me. I just have the final or the winner. He was a +9 defensive runs saved. I don't know how that ranks for PCA is right below him. I don't know. Again, you look at PCA and you're like, wow, he's doing really special things, right?
Right.
That's a Gold Glover. Ian Happ doesn't do special. He doesn't do special things. He does routine things and doesn't throw anybody out because he's got a weak arm.
Right.
So I just don't.
So I'm looking at the like according to the page that I'm on right now is Baseball Savant. It's a sabermetrics.
That's the best one. Yeah.
It's the best one. Baseball Savant's the best. So comparing him to someone like PCA, so like Ian Happ's range and arm are at a 0, and his fielding run value is at a 0. PCA, his fielding run value is at 21. His range is at a 19, and his arm's at a 3. And 3 is like the best arm I'm seeing outside of Stephen Kwan, who's at a 7, and Brenton Doyle, who's at a 5, Tyrone Taylor, who's at a 5. But this is just, I think this takes into account your position. I don't think they're saying that PCA has like
Right.
that Stephen Kwan has a better arm than PCA. Like they're
Sure.
not saying that. I think it's just based on position. But
Sure.
for his position, it's a 3. And the only stronger arm I'm seeing in center field is really just Tyrone Taylor and Brenton Doyle, which I would argue
Yeah.
that that's not true, but they have the stats in front of them. They compile these stats.
Right.
It's computer generated. Like they have all the right information, so I do trust them. But yeah, like there's definitely better left fielders on that list than Ian Happ. I don't know why they continue
Yeah.
to gift him these Gold Gloves.
Yeah. I don't. And again, it's not an
It's
offensive
not like it
award.
hurts you. It doesn't hurt you in left, but is he the best defensive left fielder in the National League? I don't think he is.
That's my point. And we continue to year over year go, well, we can't upgrade left field because we have a Gold Glove left fielder. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm waiting to see the special, and it just doesn't. I'll just continue
Right.
disappointed. Yeah, PCA in center field again, nothing to complain about there. Fernando Tatis in right again.
Surprised.
He does the special. Like that makes sense because he does the special stuff. He robs homers. He throws people out. He's used to be a shortstop. I get that one. Logan Webb, pitcher. Sometimes it's hard to tell with pitchers. Again, they're on the mound every 5 days. They show the highlight reel of them. I don't know. Javier Sonoja for the Marlins. Sure. I don't watch a lot of Marlins
I
baseball.
don't even know who that is.
Yep, couldn't tell you. He played third base 41 games, left field 35, second base 34, center field 14, shortstop for 10.
Okay. Wow.
Sure, sounds good to me. He's not just playing 2 positions, so that works for me. Now, the team awards, even though the Cubs could not win the Platinum Glove, the team awards were the Cubs, won as a team, and the Rangers from the AL. Again, don't watch a ton of Ranger baseball. We could tell, again, the bias is there, but when you're watching it, you know it's special as a team.
Right.
Dansby wasn't a finalist, but you had Carson Kelly was also a finalist at catcher. So you had like 6 finalists on your team.
Right.
You have guys that have won Gold Gloves in other positions too. So as a team, yes, makes sense. But the Platinum Glove, which we thought shoe-in was honestly, I thought shoe-in could have been Nico Hoerner as well, but I thought for sure PCA because we're watching it every day. Platinum Glove in the NL is Fernando Tatis again. Bryce Strang won it last year, but Fernando Tatis has won I think at least a second Platinum Glove.
He won 2 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, and that one is fan voted.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah, that is. I disagree with that heavily, and just looking on social media, a lot of other fans disagree with it too. Like you were saying, he does make the highlight play. It's like, oh well, he robs home runs and he throws people out, but it's like, how many opportunities does he have to do that? Like, what did he rob? Like 3 homers this year, so that makes him the best overall defender in the National League. I mean, that fielding run value, again, going back to that stat, which takes into account the different things that you have to do as a defender at your position. Fernando was 14th in the NL and 26th in baseball. Patrick Bailey, and then hit at a 9 fielding run value. Patrick Bailey, for reference, was the best in baseball. He had a 31, which was 10 ahead of PCA at a 21, which is still, PCA is 12 ahead of Tatis. So I saw this, and I don't know where this came from. I don't know if it was just a comment or whatever, but it said that PCA had historically had the best defensive season for an outfielder in MLB history since the deep metrics were being tracked.
So it's hard sometimes, I think, to compare the value that a catcher brings and a outfielder because the chances aren't the same, right? Every pitch a catcher has a chance to make a play, save a pass ball, save a run. It's very tangible. But in the outfield, you are restricted to your opportunities, right? I remember there was a ball in like May that PCA dove for that he was like 30 feet away from. And then he was like, "Oh, what?" They asked him post game. He was just really kidding. He's like, "Oh, I haven't had a chance in a while, and I haven't dove, and my uniform's been clean, so I wanted to just dive for one, even though I was far away."
Right.
But like, you can only control what's hit towards you, right? So it's hard to compare the catcher. But from the outfield perspective, I think it was very clear that PCA, what he was doing on a nightly basis, taking runs away, taking hits away, the percent catch.
The catch probability, he
Yes.
had multiple that were 0% catch probabilities that
Yeah.
he caught.
Yep.
Like just his reads, his speed, his just his reactions, like all of it. Like it is a slap in the face that he did not win the platinum glove.
Yeah.
It's a
And from
slap in the
the
face.
from the fan point of view, maybe taking a home run back looks bigger than, because all right, PCA is going hard at a ball, dives, makes a catch. When outfielder B will back off that line drive, let it bounce, and it's a single. So yeah, PCA is taking away a single, but outs are precious either way. And when he's doing that more often than home runs, I understand you'd rob 2 home runs in a year. That's a crazy year, right? It's like lightning striking. But PCA just on a daily basis. We were sitting at the Brewer game. They hate PCA. They're
Yeah.
talking so much garbage about him. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, really? Like, he's going to win the gold glove, maybe the platinum glove. And he goes, yeah, but remember he dropped that ball in June? And I'm like, I do, because that's the last time he dropped a ball, right?
Yeah.
Like, he just played phenomenal defense, and we're going to see it. And he will win a platinum glove at some point.
Yeah.
It just was not this year. And,
Right.
I hate to say, like, when he hits a little better, but maybe when he hits a little better, then,
Right.
yeah. And then Bobby Witt on the AL side.
Yeah.
Um,
That is less of a, I mean, Bobby Witt, when it comes to that FRV, was at 20, and the two guys ahead of him in the AL were at 22. You have Alejandro Kirk and you have Ceddanne Rafaela, who Ceddanne Rafaela had a very, very special season. Also plays multiple positions, but Bobby Witt was just
yeah.
fantastic. And I cannot be mad at that. He is the cornerstone of that franchise. He does it on both sides of the ball. Very deserving, did all the things. Cannot be mad at that. I do feel a little bit bad for Ceddanne because Ceddanne had a really, really great
Well,
season. I mean, better than Witt, but not by much. But hopefully he'll get another opportunity as well.
yeah. I mean, this might be my infield bias from playing infield, but I always tend to go when in doubt infielder. If you have a
Mhm.
really good shortstop and a really good center fielder, I will take the shortstop's performance because it's just infinitely harder. You're that much closer. It's that much more demanding to play, especially shortstop in the Major League Baseball. That is one of the most demanding positions, probably next to catcher.
Mhm.
Um, catcher's probably more. That's why I don't diminish what Cal Raleigh did this last year from the catcher position, MVP. But that's the story for when they actually announce it. We'll
Right.
react. That's kind of why I like the format of our show is we're not being too daily herky jerky. We get to let these things come out and we can kind of chew on them a little bit.
Right.
But for Bobby Witt, definitely I will always bow to the shortstop over an
Right. So
outfielder.
you're saying I should have bought that City Connect jersey at Shields in
No
Appleton
one
when
no
I had the
one
chance.
told you not to.
Yeah. I mean, if I was feeling a little saucy, like I would have bought the Ken Griffey Jr. and the Bobby Witt Jr. Like that would have been a cool combo to buy.
So I don't know if this is a different topic, but I saw a reel that was saying if you're above the age like 36, you should never wear a jersey. And I was like, I don't what
I
okay,
don't agree with that.
whatever.
Or they say like, why are you like you're a grown man wearing another grown
Another
man? Like
man's
who
name
cares?
on,
I'm a fan. I
fucking
can be a
fan.
fan if I want.
You're a fanatic.
Whatever.
Well, fortunately, you didn't buy any of these jerseys this year. There have been a ton of player opt outs. So we're kind of in an interesting turn in baseball, right? Because we have a lockout looming in 2027. Um, I think teams are kind of being hesitant with longer deals because they don't know if there's going to be salary cap restrictions, if they're not going to be able to afford, because they're going to go bankrupt during the lockout, blah, blah, blah. What we've seen, though, so far is a lot of marquee, close to home names that are opting out. I highlighted a few that are interesting to me. But number one, Alex Bregman.
Yep.
I don't know if I expected him when he signed that 3-year opt-out deal that he was going to stay, but you're in a good spot in Boston. But apparently, he feels like he played good enough to opt out, so he's going to go pursue another deal. Pete Alonso, same thing, bet on himself again, had a phenomenal season.
Right.
Very good offensive season, very good defensive season. That would be the only, maybe he could have won a Gold Glove, but
Pete's going to get a bag.
Here nor there. Yes, he will. Kyle Tucker, not surprisingly, opting out, or just a free agent. I think he did opt out.
Free agent. It was a 1-year expiring contract.
It's 1 year expiring, but they have extended a qualifying offer on him. So if someone does pick him up, he gets some draft return. Woo! What are they going to do?
Yeah,
with that?
we're going to trade that for another year of somebody else.
Yippee skippy. So yeah, Kyle Tucker is a free agent. Shota Imanaga. Remember we were talking that he had like 5 different ways they could do it. Cubs turned down they could have extended him to a 5-year deal instead of a 3-year deal. They said no. He turned down his mutual option for the next 2 years or 1 year, whatever it was. So now he is technically a free agent. I don't know if that matters because he pitched very poorly in the postseason, couldn't figure out his splitter. And if you pay him a lot of money to not really be a factor in the postseason, I don't know. I'd rather spend that money on the large free agent class that everyone's opting out. You had every Padres pitcher opt out. Ranger Suarez, Michael King, Dylan Cease is available. They're all gone. And then another interesting one, Brandon Woodruff opt out of a 1-year, $20 million deal. That one, if he turns around and goes, I'm going to give the Brewers a discount, I'm going to opt out and then sign for like 10 mil, that would be...
There's no way he's doing that.
I don't know why he'd turn down 20 and then come back. Maybe they're going to cut him. I don't know, but they still own the money. Anyways, that's my list of interesting. Any of those guys do you think should return? Are you interested in? Or any other opt-outs that I didn't find as interesting, maybe?
I don't think so. I'm not really. Bregman was a little bit surprising, but I think he just wants the years.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted before.
He's 36, though.
Bregman?
Yeah, isn't he 35?
No, he's younger than me. No, I think he might be 30. No, he's younger than me by a few years.
We gotta look it up. But
if he's 30, I'd be surprised. He might be 29 or 30. He's not my age. He's younger than me.
Let's see.
He's your age. I think he's the same age as
David Bregman is 31. Is that his name? Yeah.
I think he's younger than
31.
you.
31. Okay.
Alex Bregman?
Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
He's 31.
So he's younger than you.
I'm sorry, Alex Bregman.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think for him, I think he was a great fit in Boston. He's a big reason why they were where they were this year, why they made such a drastic jump.
He missed a good chunk of the season too, but
if they would have had him, they probably would have been closer to being in the mix, maybe even being the division winner too, because they weren't far off. But yeah, I think he just wants the years. I'd be interested to see where he ends up. I've even heard Chicago possibly. I'm seeing his name surface from like John Heyman and Jesse Rogers, I think, said something, talked about his name a little bit. But yeah, not really surprised at any of the opt-outs aside from him. There was an opt-in that I'm glad that he did it, and I think he was smart to. Trevor Story opted in to the final 2 years of his contract. Finally had a healthy year since joining the team, and he was also a big catalyst for them being where they were. Had a really nice defensive season. Did really good on the offensive end too.
Yeah, he's a guy who's you just alluded to, struggle to stay healthy. I'm sure he's thinking, man, I would rather stay on a Red Sox team that's competitive than
Hmm.
go chase some money and play in, oh, I don't know, Colorado again,
Right.
just to get a paycheck. I I can't see a guy like that that's had a taste of success and playing in a good baseball environment in Boston and finally getting healthy and playing to the best of his ability, being like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. So I'm
Right.
not surprised by that one, but pleasantly surprised, because when he's healthy, he's a difference maker.
He is.
Um,
And they have a lot of very exciting young talent, and that team and the
yes,
organization are only going to get better. You have an absolute horse on the mound when it comes to
Crochet.
Garrett,
Yeah.
and the Red Sox are going to be pretty good moving forward. It'll be interesting to see how their outfield shakes out. I they signed Duran to like a qualifying offer for a
Yep.
year, but he might get moved for something because they have a lot of pieces. Like you got two Gold Glovers, you got him, you got Roman Anthony. Like you got guys who are ready to go, and
So
he might be the odd man out.
the the Red Sox have a lot of infield prospects, right? They have Marcel Meyer is also coming. He played a little bit last year. You have Christian Campbell, who you just paid, right? The weakness for them, though, by far, has been first base.
First base.
Even with Tristan Casas, like he's been okay, but
They
also
need
again,
to
he
they
can
need to give Pete
upgrade.
Alonso money. They need to
You
give Pete Alonso some
and
money.
they have money. The Red Sox have plenty of money, and if you don't sign Alex Bregman, I don't see them sitting there going like, we just shouldn't spend any money. Sign a Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso needs to be their primary offseason target.
Yep,
They need to sign him.
yep. That's
Maybe another starting pitcher as well, but Pete Alonso, they don't owe Tristan Casas anything
no,
because he hasn't given them anything. He's had
no.
1 year where he was semi healthy. He cannot stay on the field. He's a nice player. He's an interesting dude. Pete Alonso immediately puts you into the World Series conversation.
Yes,
Immediately.
yep,
With the team that you have, with the young core that you have, they have to do everything that they can,
yeah,
outbid the Mets, outbid the Yankees, outbid whoever you need to outbid. Like he needs to be the guy that
yeah.
they go after.
Yep, and you're done tiptoeing around it. You made the playoffs this last year. You had a good chance to move on, but just like the Cubs, you gotta be ready to move. And same with I've heard Bregman to the Cubs. Um, Matt Shaw was very good defensively. He was not good enough at the plate,
No,
and you needed a solid bat. And again, I'm pleasantly surprised by his glove, and that kept him in the lineup as long as it did. But he gave you nothing in the postseason.
right,
He walked a few times, but he gave you nothing at the plate. And
right.
you need a little bit more. It would just make that lineup that much deeper. You're most likely not going to sign Kyle Tucker back.
He's
Once
gone.
he's out the door, he's gone. So you need to add probably a couple bats, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think
They
that
will
that
not,
fit.
they will definitely not be the same team when it comes to the glove. I'm just really interested to see what they do. So say they do go after Bregman and they go after Schwarber. Um, so
Schwarber's
you
deal
you
is
force you
very
force
friendly.
right. So you if you say you pursue those two players, you immediately get back into that playoff division World Series conversation. You get two established veterans who got some pop. Um, you become weaker because I think you force Seiya Suzuki into right field again, which I'm not a big fan of. You're not losing much with Bregman being at third versus Shaw. I just worry that like, what do you do with Shaw then? What does Shaw do? Where does he play? Because he's not going to be a middle infielder because those two guys are wizards. Um, I
I
just don't
O
know.
W A.
I don't know what they do.
I have a
Like, is he just like a super utility guy who
yes.
plays middle infield and third
Yep.
base? And like Bregman, you want to keep healthy. Some days you'll DH him.
Yep.
Some days you'll put Schwarber in left. Like
I would
the biggest thing
rather
here's my thing. If Ian Happ was, and then I'll let you speak. Sorry.
no.
Um, we have an Ian Happ problem, and it needs to go away. And I feel like if we get rid of Ian Happ and we're able to get Bregman and Schwarber, I'd put Schwarber back in left. Why not?
I'll let you talk about that all day. I
Right.
sign me up for that. Or move Seiya to left.
Right.
Where do you put bad outfielders? Left field.
Unless you're Stephen Kwan.
Unless you're Stephen Kwan. But you know what? Your worst defending outfielder is usually your left fielder. You can hide a glove there. You know what? Kyle Schwarber's got a good arm. We've seen it. We know what he can do. But he would be a DH. And I have no problem. Seiya played a beautiful left field when they had to put him out there for a couple of days when Ian Happ had his mental health break in the middle of the season. We've 2 years in a row in July. He's got to take a mental health break. I can't agree with that more, and they won't do it. I know they won't do it. But if it's an injury, you never wish a guy injured. I just wish they would make it easy on all of us, just trade him, but they won't. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Cubs construct their next roster, sans Kyle Tucker. They have plenty of outfielders. That's not the problem. They have, but to what I was going to say is I would take Matt Shaw as super utility this coming year over John Birdie.
Yeah, we don't need
Over
that.
whoever else they've had that they've had just had to
Justin
cut.
Turner.
Vidal
they
Brujan, right?
Cubs declined the $10 million. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, we'll take that back.
did we not?
You
Did I not have that on my list of interesting? Oh, because that's not
Right.
interesting.
No.
He had too many at bats in the postseason. Did he have one? I don't know, but it was too many.
Right.
Yeah, he let off that one game. They can improve utility, and Matt Shaw gives you versatility. He's shown he's not a major league ready bat yet, so the glove, not a question.
Right.
But we're not in the feel good business. We're in the I would like them to be in the win World Series business. I don't know if they're actually in that business, but
Right.
Here or there.
Right.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. Jeff Passan also, they asked him about the Dodgers, and do you think the Dodgers are just gonna run it back? And he goes, the Dodgers don't run it back. The Dodgers add constantly.
Yeah.
He goes,
Yeah.
and honestly, looking at the Dodgers, they have room to add. Their outfield, though good defensively, suspect hitting. You could improve on right field. You can improve on center field. Pages had a great regular season, gave you nothing in the postseason, hit 083. Kike, you only need him in October. So what do you do
Right.
for the other 6 months out of the year?
Right.
There's a wide open outfield there. And maybe they find a shortstop and move Mookie back out to the outfield. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, I just thought it was funny because Jeff Passan is very candid, and someone asked him that question. He just was kind of smirking, and he's like, "No, they're going to add because they just always add."
Right.
And then he's like, "Also,
They're winners because they're winners, and that's what winning organizations do."
Yeah, he's like, "Also, they have multiple arms that are going to be ready next year coming off injury, and Roki Sasaki is a starter. If you forgot, so they have like 9 starters for next year.
They do.
Last point that I have is the Brewers note. Why do they hate their players? Why do they continually not reward their players? William Contreras for the 2nd straight season is going to arbitration.
Wow.
Why?
Right.
You know what? We've seen this with them multiple times now. Do you remember Corbin Burns a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
He went to arbitration. He decided he was going to go to the hearing.
He went to his own hearing.
He went to his own hearing, and they're trashing him. And he goes, "Wow, I'm not going to sign here." What do you think the odds are that William Contreras actually signs a contract with the Brewers?
I mean, I think he'll end up in the AL, to be honest. What's crazy is that they treat their organization, like they treat their players so well, and they develop so well, and then it's like you get to the highest level, and they're like, "Okay, we're done with you. Like we've invested all this time and effort into you, and now that you want to get paid for having everything come to fruition, like now we don't want you. Now we're just gonna like tighten the purse strings a little bit and see you later."
And they didn't grow William Contreras. They acquired him from the Braves. And you know what? They're probably going to talk about in his arbitration hearing how he has a broken finger and how his thumb needs surgery. That's what they're going to talk about. not that the guy's been playing through injuries for the past 2 seasons for you
Yeah.
and has been your best offensive player. Let's forget all
Hitting
that.
hitting third in your lineup, catching, DHing when he's not catching. Like, yeah, like I mean, William Contreras is a special player.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of guys who have like we talked about this like with Cal Raleigh too. There's not a lot of guys who are playing the hardest position in baseball, and then when they're not playing that position, they're still in the lineup hitting.
Yeah.
Like there's just not a lot of guys who are like
Yeah.
that. I could name probably 5 who are doing that right now, and
Yeah.
he's one of them.
When the Cubs used to do it with Wilson when he first came up, they put him in left field. They DH'd, or there was no DH, but they were just trying to move him around to keep his bat in the lineup, but not have him catch 162 games. But it's just we're in this interesting time of the season where we're getting all these arbitration numbers, we're getting all these end of year things, and I saw that one pop up, and I'm like, when are they going to get one of these right? Where you're going to arbitration over like 500K.
Yeah.
And you're going to trash this guy and tell him how he sucks and he's no good. And then you're going to give him $11 million instead of $12 million. But you won. You saved Mark Antanasio saved $1 million. Then he's going to go to his LA, $1 billion home. And then, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with this organization? You're right. They treat them so well. And it's funny because we see Nick, he's like, oh, Jesus Mede is coming. And they will tout this guy until he's finally in the major leagues, which may happen next year because they're not very high on Joey Ortiz.
Right.
Because the glove is great, but it's the same as Shaw. The bat just isn't following.
That's not there. Yeah.
They're gonna glorify him, and then it's gonna come time to pay him, and they're gonna be like, man, we got Jesus Sanchez is coming up instead, or whatever, because they just produce shortstops like it's nobody's business.
They do.
But
It's
just, I know they have to. Like this is how they, keep relevant and win games. But this guy's done so much for you, and you're just gonna treat him like trash. It's just funny.
It's not right, and I mean maybe he'll end up in LA. I mean, because it seems like all the guys who don't like. I just think of Snell and Glass now. Tampa didn't want to pay them.
Yeah.
See you later. The Braves didn't want to pay Freddie. See you later. The Red Sox didn't want to pay Mookie. See you later. It's like, all right, here you go. We'll just take these guys.
And they the Brewers picked up a mutual option on Freddie Peralta for $8 million.
That's way more.
He's going to make
more.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're paying Woodruff $20 million, and he declined his option. And you're only giving the guy who's been the ace of your staff for the last 5 seasons is making $8 million. That's a joke. That's an absolute joke. He should strike this year and say, I'm not playing. And you know what? He's not going to sign with the Brewers next year when he's a free agent.
Justin Turner made more money this past year than Freddie Peralta.
Crazy.
That is crazy. But that's just, again, this is why we're headed for a strike.
Yeah.
I mean, there's many reasons why, but this is a big reason. And I mean, even the Tigers, who I really like the Tigers and I like their organization, you're going to give Tarek Skubal 4 years and $80 million. Like Tarek Skubal's the best pitcher on the planet.
You know what though?
He's worth way more than that. They're going to lose him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Dodger. Like really.
But this doesn't. Whatever happens with this lockout situation, CBA ending, it's not going to affect the mid-tier teams like the Brewers and Tigers.
No.
It's only going to affect, which it should, teams like the Pirates. Because, again, I think best case scenario is you have a cap and a floor, and you raise it up. It's not going to affect the Brewers, though, because they spend enough. They don't spend a ton, but they spend enough. The Pirates need to up their spending. The Rays probably need to up their spending. But otherwise, these teams in the middle, like this is going to be how they operate regardless. So it's not going to change anything. Just because they have nothing to, I would say they have nothing to gain, probably more to lose. Because if there's less of a revenue sharing because they're putting a salary cap in place, then maybe. But it's going to be messy. But yeah, these teams are still going to operate the same way. So I don't see that changing anything at all.
And honestly, their shortfall is another team's their next chip to win or their next chip to build a championship caliber team. It's like You can't give, and $8 million is not scraps to anybody, but for a
Well,
professional athlete, for a guy pitching at the highest level, not a lot of not a lot of pitchers can do what Freddie Peralta can do, and can do what he's done already. He's been one of the best. So
well, and I don't think I think he's more leaving his prime than entering his prime.
yeah,
And the Brewers they're going to let him walk because they know his best days are behind him, and he will get rewarded for
come to
being
Chicago, please,
sure.
please.
But he'll get rewarded for the way he has pitched his entire career. But I do think that his best seasons are potentially behind him because he's had such good seasons. So someone will be rewarding past wins, and it won't be the Brewers, and they're going to look like they're smart again because they, cut a guy loose before he lost it all. But he is a $25 million a year pitcher that they are
Yep.
paying $8.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really what's happening. But
Yep.
Very interesting. We will continue to track it. Next time we talk, we'll probably be talking MVPs and Silver Sluggers, and more just off season. It's funny because when all these guys were opting out, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this the NBA now where like there's all this action? And it's like,
Right.
no, we're still gonna have to wait till February before we
It's going to be
talk
very
about it.
slow. It's going to be painfully slow.
Yeah. But there was, that first day of free agency, it was like this guy opted out, that guy opted out, this guy, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres don't have a team anymore because everybody opted out. But it's very fast.
Mike Dan's the manager now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fire you, hire you. It's like all this action, but then nothing. So, it'll be a while before we're actually solidifying rosters and talking about what next year looks like. But we will get there at some point, and we'll continue to break down this. At least, again, that we're starting to get into the off-season awards, and they're slow trickling. I don't know why they don't just announce, just give us the goods. I don't know why they torture us with these like one-day slow release things with the awards, but that's what they do to us because they're baseball.
Yep.
And we love them. But anyways, all right. Until next time, guys, boots go in pairs. Take it easy.
Peace.